Surprise! I'm hopping on today, just spur of the moment, because I was making some cards ready for a swap, and I thought, why not share them with you? So this is the catalog that I'm working from. I cannot show you the inside, but I know many of you have it, and September the 4th, I will be able to show you the inside. So I'm looking forward to that. But just a heads up, if you don't have it and you live in Canada and don't have a demonstrator, just reach out and I'll make sure that you have one. But we're going to play with a suite of products from here, and you're going to get a sneak peek at some cards that I'm making for a swap. So the suite that we're going to play with is called, I believe, the Peaceful Season. I'm using, anyway, one of the bundles. It's one of the mega suites, so it has two bundles. The bundle I am going to feature is called Peaceful Season, and it has all of these wonderful, wonderful words that work for Christmas, and some of them like happy and all the best, in your heart, that kind of thing. Those are year round, right? But different fonts. Some are great for the outside, some are great for the inside. So you've got a lovely mixture here. And then the dies are just super duper. So we've got some basic labels and some words, the word Christmas, and then the outline of the word Christmas, that kind of thing. So you can see that this word here works with these, and all of these words would fit into some of these. So I just did my get acquainted sheet here again. So we've got these, and they even cut the little holes. And I don't know if you can see here, but they're actually cut like that too, so I can see cutting those apart and raising up the middle if you want, and you could thread paper or ribbon through the openings. Just some wonderful detailing around the edges. And oh, I have these clipped here for a reason, and I'll definitely be showing this more. Well, there we go. When you cut out these shapes, you also make an opening. Well, let me flip this over. An opening like that. So that's another option for the dies. And here is the word Christmas as well. So it's just so neat like that. Or you can label it on, layer it, pardon me, on top of here. So those are the dies. I'm just going to put them to the side, and we'll put this to the side. Other things in this suite, one of them is this called Painted Trees 3D embossing folder. So it is one of those extra deep embossing folders that provides all kinds of wonderful texture. So I don't know if you can see, but let me just show. You'll be able to see when I show you that. Look at they're all different levels of texture there. So here it is on some basic beige right there. And then, of course, metallic just shows it off even more. So there is tons that you can do with this embossing folder. So we're going to be using that in a minute. So I'm just going to hang on to that. Also in this suite is this ribbon. It's called Cherry Cobbler and Gold Satin Ribbon, and it's nice and soft, and it is 1/4 of an inch wide, so it's not too wide. It would tie beautifully. It will be so easy to work with. It is absolutely gorgeous. So that's also in the suite. Also in the suite are these embellishments. You can see that I've used more than a few. So these are called the gold textured adhesive back dots. So they come and they have 3 sizes: the largest size, the medium size, and the middle size right there. So we have that. So let me show you the card that I've been making. First off, it's a takeoff from a card I did a while back. So it looks like this flat, but when you open it up, it's a fun fold like that. Remember, so there was that one, and there was this one here like that. This is the one we made in a Facebook Live and on YouTube, so you'll be able to find that on my YouTube channel. When I'm done, I'll put the link to that one. Now, with this one, we cut so that it was only 7.5 here. The one that I'm going to do today, we're going to keep it at 8.5. So it will be 5.5 by 8.5. And I'll show you what I did with the extra little 1-inch piece there. So it's a takeoff from this card here. And we're going to bring in, oh, I forgot to show one thing that's also part of that suite. And it is the gorgeous designer paper. This is called Season of Elegance designer paper, and the colors are basic beige, cherry cobbler, crumb cake, gray granite, lost lagoon, mossy meadow, old olive, pretty peacock, real red, and gold. So let me just give you a quick look here. So you can see we've got our different greens here and also the gold splotches. And then on the back side, we just have all of these different, it almost looks textured or splotchy or whatever. There is this, they used a palette paint. I think they painted with a palette knife. You know how they just kind of put bits down. So here is another one here. Beautiful paper. And then the back. And then this, so you'll notice though that some of them are, the gold is splotchy. Some of them, the gold just is in a pattern like this. There are different variations. And then there's little flecks. And then on this side, again, that different depths of texture. And some more like that. So you can really see how they would have used a palette knife on this. Here's your pretty peacock. And then on the other side, so there's a bit of Lost Lagoon in here as well. And then there's this one here. So gorgeous paper. So the card we're going to make today, it has a little bit of, a lot of those things found in the suite. We're going to start with 5.5 by 8.5. And I've already scored it, but I'm just going to pretend that I haven't. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to score it at 1 inch, then at 4.25, and then at 7.5. So that was 1 inch, 4.25, 7.5. So now we're going to put this away. And we're going to fold this in like that. Eventually, this is going to make a little pocket. And then we're going to fold this in. Now, I like to straighten things out so that I am folding as little layer-wise as possible so I get a nice sharp fold. And then on the last one, the one on the left-hand side, we are going to fold it one way, and then the other way, and that's because that's the one that's going to be flopping back and forth. So we'll have that to come back to. So now we are going to, because I'm going to turn this into a little gift card holder, pardon me, you can bring any punch you want. I'm using my heartfelt hexagon, and we're just going to punch just a little bit here. A circle works, your modern oval, whatever. And I'm centering it, just eyeballing so it's about equal, and just taking a little bite out of it like that. So now it looks like that. So if I were to close it up, it's like that. But we're going to dress this up a little bit here. We're going to bring in that fabulous embossing folder, and we're going to bring in the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine like this. And because it's a 3D, we are going to use the specialty plate and only platform number 1. We've taken everything else off. Now I want to emboss, let me just see it, the trees over here. So I'm going to, oh, pardon me, over here where the notch is. I'm going to come in. So, oh, this is a little crowded. So where the notch is going in, and I'm going to bring the embossing folder to the fold. So I've got quite a bit in here. Now, the reason I folded before I use the embossing folder is once you have embossed, sometimes it's hard to find that fold. But if you have already folded and burnished the fold with your bone folder, it will actually kind of naturally go there. So it's always wise to fold before you use your embossing folder if you have a fold involved. So let's take this apart and bring this in. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So now you see, you can't even see where the fold was here, but because we had folded before, it's going to fold nicely, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a push there. So now I'm going to bring in, any strong adhesive. I'm going to use tear and tape, and when I was making so many of these, what I did, just a second, this is what I did. I just wing it, but when I was making 20 of these, I've just brought in a little ruler or your credit card, or not a credit card, a gift card, anything that's firm, and you can go like that and tear it, and that's just another way of dealing with your tear and tape. So we're going to peel this off like that, and we'll get our little pocket made. So that pocket is going to go on the right hand side, and it's going to fold like this. Now remember the one that we made here, it's going to end up looking like a regular card, but when you open it, that's when the fun fold is evident. So we've got the base of our card. This is our card base. So now let's work on the rest. So we've got some bits and pieces here. I decided that I wanted to bring in different ribbon because I was actually making this card in 3 different colors. So I wanted something that would go with all 3 colors. And so I brought in this gorgeous ribbon. I really love it. So this is called Wild Wheat. You can find it on page 37 for those of you who have the catalog. So there's wild wheat on the border, and then it is like a mesh in the middle. It's quite rustic looking, and it is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to use this ribbon. We are going to use a layer of wild wheat here. We have embossed the white with that tree, and this is going to go on here when the time comes, just so you can see where we're headed here. And this is going to be centered on here. But I decided to use this shape from the kit, and we're going to stamp using the words peace and joy, and we're going to stamp in cherry cobbler. We'll just get that here. So we've got that stamping done. And while we have the cherry cobbler out, I took these words from the stamp set as well for the inside. And we'll have the greeting on the inside like this. So just like that, we've got the stamping done. We'll close the ink pad up. Now I cut from that gorgeous designer paper, I cut 2 more of the same shape as this. And this was inspired by one of the samples in the catalog. I just changed it up a little bit. Now I want these to come off the edge and be snipped, and I wanted them the same. So I decided that I would do it this way. I brought it in, I layered both pieces together. I lined it up with the 1/4 inch, and I'm using the cross line here, making sure it's straight like that, and just hang on to the edge And we will snip that off, and we're actually going to use those little pieces as well. So I'll take that over here, and I'm going to keep this here because we're going to use it in a minute. So I'm going to turn these over and turn these over. We'll put adhesive, on all of them. And in a minute, you'll see where I'm going with this. So we've got adhesive on here. Like that. Now we're going to bring in the white, and I want these to be coming off this edge. And when I like to line up the edges, I like to use an edge of something. Now my Simply Scored will work, this will work, or anything that has just a nice edge that you can find around the house. So we're going to take this one, and this is so I can get it nice and flush to the edge. So see, I can bring it right up to here, and it's like that. Now I know that I want to put this here, so I'm just resting it here right now as a spacer and bringing this in. And that right about there. And again, I'm pushing everything right to the edge, just like that. See how nice and flush it is? It's just so easy when you do it that way. Now these little pieces, when I was making the cards, I thought these little pieces have to do something. And then I was thinking, well, how can I decorate the inside? Well, these little pieces are going to decorate the inside. So here we go. We'll put this one right here, like that. And then we're going to flip it around and put this one down here. So talk about using every little scrap. We definitely didn't waste anything with this card. So we've got that, and we'll put this in the inside in a moment. Well, actually, maybe we'll do it right now. So this is going to go here, right in there. So this piece here is actually 3 inches. 3 inches across by 5 1/4, and we'll just fasten it in. And then our inside will be all done. Sometimes it's hard to see if you're centered, so there we go. There, that looks good. So we'll close it up like that, and then we've got this. Now we're going to bring in a piece of that fun ribbon, and I just found that the wild wheat seemed to go with the gold. That was what I was thinking anyway. So I want this piece to be hanging out this way, and I didn't want it frayed. So this is going to be wrapped around anyway, so I'm just going to fold it over and feed it through the little openings. And do the same on this side. Like that. And give it a tug so it's nice and straight. There, it looks like that. Right now it looks like it has wings, right? We're not going to worry too much about that because we're going to make it look less wingy in a minute. I'm going to put a glue dot on this end here. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put a mini dimensional or a half dimensional top and bottom so it is not touching the ribbon, and you're going to see why that's so important in a minute here. We'll take those dimensional backings off, maybe, and then we're going to come here and we're going to fasten this down first before we play with the ribbon. So I'm working on my placement here, and I like it about there. like that. Now I can pull my ribbon one way or the other. Because I don't have the dimensionals connected, I can adjust the ribbon any way I want. And that's the joy of that. So that looks pretty good to me. I want to wrap this ribbon around, because remember we have a glue dot here. I'm going to wrap that around. And this, either you can leave it as is, or I just put a little bit of seal, just a tiny speck, just to hold it in place, but not to be over sticky. There's a new word for you, over sticky. All right, so now we've got it like that. Now we're going to lay it on here. I chose, by the way, the white is 3 3/4 by 5. I chose to make my wild wheat just 1/8 of an inch bigger so that I just have the narrow border. So in my mind, it was not overwhelming. It was just adding that little bit of contrast and color. And when I show you the other colors I chose to make in this card too, the wild wheat seemed to go with all of the colors that I worked with. So at least in my mind it did. You can decide that for yourself, but there we go. So now we've got it like that. Now, when we go to fasten it on here, so right now it's going to be just centered as if it was a regular card front, right? But we don't want to stick the whole thing down. We only want to stick on this side here. And because this is so bulky, I know that if I put adhesive here and adhesive here, and when I go to put it down, if I've got equal borders on these 3, it'll be fine and it'll stick down without having this bulk. Once it's dry, I can tuck that back underneath. Now, just make sure I'm putting the adhesive in the right spot. So I'm putting it underneath this edge here, and then just not quite at the fold, and I'm not going top to bottom because I know that I'm leaving a bit of a border. So I've got it like that. Make sure I've got everything right side up and all that kind of stuff. Center it here. Give it a good press and let it sit for a minute. And while it's sitting, we're going to do the embellishments, and then I'm going to tuck this under, and you'll see how that all works together. So these embellishments, like I said, come in 3 sizes, large, medium, and small. And because it's a swap card, I like to showcase all 3 sizes. So I chose to put one here, one here, and one here. That's just a personal preference. That's how it went. Okay, so now it's been setting up. I can bend this back, put this like that, and there is the card. So I made one in Cherry Cobbler. I also made one in Mossy Meadow, so the Mossy Meadow paper. I took my colors from the designer paper, and I made one in Pretty Peacock. So those are the cards. So they're all the same inside, just the different colors. But I just thought it would be nice, instead of cutting that piece off, especially at Christmas time, often you want to put a gift card in or a family photo or something like that, and that would work just perfectly that way. So there you have it. There is the card. That's going to, well, it's a sneak peek at a lot of product that's going to be available beginning September the 2nd, or September the 4th. So these were the cards that it was based on, the same fold. So I will, like I said, I will put the link afterwards if you want to see the link to that. But there's how you make that card. So I hope that you like it. Maybe it gives you some ideas. And if you're looking at your catalog, look at I think it's the very first sample. It's a dark color in the background, but they use this shape and scatter it across. And this is my adaptation of that. So Marianne, so glad you like it. That's excellent. You've just made my heart happy. So please do give me a thumbs up or a comment. Let me know you've seen this, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, and have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.